Hello YouTube, this is Charlie426, and today we have the review of the P-Bandai Exclusive, or P-Bandai Exclusive HGUC Varguil, or at least that's the way that I understood how that is pronounced, because in Korean, this is written and read as Varguil, so in English I would assume it's Varguil as well. So if I'm doing it in the wrong pronunciation, do let me know, because before Varguil, I actually pronounce it as Varguil because I did not see the I in in its name at first time. But still, here we have the kit. So this is a P-Bandai exclusive kit, meaning that it's a limited edition. So keep that in mind. So if you're thinking, yes, there is the HGUC Sazabi as comparison, which I brought out. And if you're thinking, is this the original, how should I say, prototype of the Sazabi? Yes and no, because there was actually an actual prototype Sazabi out there before. I mean, not as a kit, but like in terms of like data, there was, and that was like the only one we knew at the time. But now, when Moon Gundam the manga came out, Varguil showed up, so which did bring out a lot of confusion. And also, for those who are looking, for those who have a certain kit called the HGUC Moon Gundam, might have noticed that some parts are very familiar. For those who don't know, who hasn't read the manga, I'm just going to say this right away. The Moon Gundam we got as an HGUC kit is not exactly what you think it is. So the Moon Gundam we got is originally what it is basically the body of the original... so Varguil is the original owner of the body of the Moon Gundam. The body, legs, arms... That is the original owner of the HGUC Moon Gundam. The head belonged to a different mobile suit called the Psycho Gundam Mark IV, and its funnels, of course. So Psycho Gundam Mark IV is the original owner of the Moon Gundam's head and funnels. So I'm not going to go too deep regarding the manga, so just keep that in mind. Alright, so let's get on to the review. So first of all, as usual, let's go over components. So first of all, what we get, of course, is obviously the mobile suit itself, the HGUC Varguil himself. Definitely love the interesting or non-common purple color, because I don't think we really get purple color mobile suits that often. So definitely a nice touch, and the extra yellow all over the kit with some extra black colors is definitely a good touch, and those stickers with the yellow and black lining, definitely a nice touch as well. Weapon-wise, we get two funnel racks going on there, and on the backpack we actually do get a beam tomahawk on the middle. I believe the original Sazabi would usually carry its beam tomahawk inside the shield with two beam sabers on its wrist, but for this case you only get one, and that's the only close combat weapon you get. And then we get a very Sazabi gun-ish beam rifle, but I don't think it's exactly the same thing because it's definitely smaller. Hand-wise, we get a trigger finger for the right hand and two open hands for left and right. So currently I'm using one on the left hand, and then on this side we have the other one right over here. So we get a full open hand for each side, and then we get the multi-purpose hand for left and right as well. So no need to worry about holding the beam sabers as well. So keep that in mind. And then before we go over the beam effect parts, oops, sorry about that, come on. Here we have a connector, because believe it or not, this kit is one of those kits that do not have a action-based hole connector on the bottom. So what you do is they give you a extra connector which goes onto the back skirt. Well, under the back skirt we actually have a hole there, and this thing has a peg so you connect it, and so you can use it on a action base. So keep that in mind. Actually, I know some people might prefer this as well. And then here we have some beam effect parts. So when I said beam tomahawk, we're technically not exactly the same as the Sazabi. We're using half of it. So yeah, this is the HGUC version. So yeah, a good addition as well. And then we have these small four beam saber effect parts, but beam effect parts. So I've checked the wiki, and it doesn't really mention what these are in the actual names. But if you look at the back of the arm, we have these things that are, come on, that are stored into the arm. Now, funny thing, okay, now here we got them. So we have these things. These are what I would like to personally call them the beam boomerangs, but even the manual doesn't really mention what it is, because if you buy P-Bandai kits, they give you a very simple looking manual, no color at all. They barely show what each part is called. They do show you like arms and such, but yeah, they just show you this and doesn't really mention what it is. So for now, I'm just going to call them the beam boomerangs, What this is that you take out the part that's stored in the arm, and then you can open up like this. You reveal them like this, and then what you can do is basically attach these beam effect parts right over here. Or actually, this might be the other way around. So let's see. So I believe there's 2 each, and then yeah, this way. So this is, you would open it and then attach the beam saber effect parts or beam effect parts, and like this would be a throwing type weapon. So I believe the bolster actually has to physically throw it, or basically launch it out of its arm, and it would spin towards the enemy. So yeah, definitely a interesting weapon, and I personally like it. Of course, the problem is that this would be very hard to actually display because you can't really defy, gravity. So yeah, you get 2 sets of those. So there's 2 of those boomerangs on each arm. So one on the left arm, the other one on the right arm. So keep that in mind. Sticker wise, this thing is not sticker heavy actually. So here we have the sticker sheet, more of a decals type sticker sheet. So number 1 and 2 are obviously head cameras that goes on the front and back. Number 3 is the mono eye sticker, but we actually get 3 of them. So it's always good to have spares. So you get 2 spares, one's left. 10 and 11, these ones go onto the knees. 4 and 5, these things go onto the shoulder. I believe 8 and 9, 6 and 7, these ones go onto the arm, and then 12, these were actually here. They also go onto the legs, and also the legs as well. So once again, these are, I wouldn't say these are like 100% essential, but if you want to go for the accurate look, I guess you would have to apply these. Alright, so, and then being a Premium Bandai kit, we have some leftover pieces. So keep in mind, obviously, there are going to be some same parts as the HGUC Moon Gundam as well. So here are the parts that I cut off. So number 1 are the funnels. These are the unique funnels that the Moon Gundam / Psycho Gundam Mark IV uses. I'm not sure if they actually shoot beams from them, but they are definitely one of those physical type funnels where they work as a shield and physically attack, hit the opponents. So we only get one size, so basically half of them, so there's no way I can actually make any of these. So yeah. And then we have this part, which I'm going to assume is from the Moon Gundam as well, which is meant to connect those funnels from to the back. Here we have another connector for some reason, not really sure what it is. We get these 2 parts, which once again I'm not really too sure what their purpose is. We get a extra head part. Actually, I believe this is a repeat part for the head part, which you put the mono eye in, and there's the chin. So that's a repeat, and this one also a leftover part. It's actually crossed out on the manual, so keep that in mind. And then here we have 2 plates, which I did not cut, so I believe these are more leftover parts because of the color. So this is the feet part, the bottom feet part. This is the feet armor part that goes onto the back and front. So we get purple ones. The kit actually uses black feet, so which is why we have leftover parts of these. So same of those. So I guess if you want to have full purple feet, I guess you can use those as well. Alright, so we've seen the leftover parts. Let's go over the articulation. Now, the build of the kit was definitely fun. Of course, when we actually do the comparison side by side, you can see there's a big size difference between the Varguil and the Sazabi. Of course, they're not the same build to each other, but definitely they have the same feeling in terms of design, and each kit has their own unique build, funness onto them as well. So you can see it's definitely, you can see Varguil is part of like the Sazabi project, but not exactly, it. So yeah, and proportion wise, I do think the Sazabi did much better, because the way how the funnel rack is stored in the back definitely feels a little bit more awkward compared to the Sazabi. But yeah, I think that's enough for the comparison in size. Now let's see what we got. I will try to point out the stickers as much as possible. So here we have the head. Obviously the mono eye is the sticker, front head camera right over here on the pink sticker, and there should be one on the back right over there as well. Very small sticker, by the way. So the head is very articulated, so no need to worry. We have the giggity giggity or chicken neck movement going on here, and then we can go down that much. That's actually a lot than you think, and then can go up that much. So very nice articulation, and 360 should be no problem at all. And as I showed you guys on the leftover part, the mono eye does not move on its own, so keep that in mind. Let's go over the arms. The arms, also, one thing to mention is that I'm not sure if I'm going to assume the Moon Gundam is also the same situation, but this kit does not use any polycaps. It uses one of those plastic joints all over the place. So even the arms, they are connected as a ball joint, but plastic joints as well. So thanks to that, we have a forward and backward movement going on here, and you can kind of pull them out a little bit more like that in that sense. So with that, we can move the arm much higher than 90 degrees. And since the arm itself is connected to a ball joint, we have a 360 twist, and the lower arm can go 360 on its own as well. And then we have a flap for the shoulder part right over here. And then here we have a nice double jointed bend going on the arm. And here's the other boomerang stored part. Now this side doesn't really fall off that often, but it's usually the right arm that I'm having an issue with. Alright, so before we go over the body, let's go look at the backpack. So if we look at without the funnel racks, it's a very basic backpack when you think about it. Just a square backpack with 2 thrusters and you're good to go. The way how this is connected is that, number one, the beam tomahawk is just you plug in not the beam saber hilt itself, but the black part right over here plugs into here, which gives it the illusion where it's actually both are plugged in. And then the funnel racks, the way how they're connected is that we have a middle connector here, which they have a peg, a very long peg that connects inside the backpack, and then on the other side we have a ball joint, which allows us to move anywhere we want pretty much, because it's a ball joint, and then the connection being on the peg here, you can move them any place you want. And then we have a ball jointed thruster, not thruster, a canister going on here. If you're wondering if we can open up the funnel racks, technically yes, but the way how this thing opens is not the way like we open up like a clam. This thing actually you slide to each side like in this sense. Now it's not really easy to do this in front of camera, but yeah, you basically slide open them like this. You open a gap, and then you can pull them out of their funnel racks. So yeah, once again, I'll try to do this demonstration at the back part. So yeah, and yeah, the funnels are pretty stuck in there, so just be careful that you don't actually drop them. Okay, now the body movement. So the body, I think it's a very basic, connection here. If I remember correctly, whoops. So just to give you guys an idea, is a plastic ball joint here, and then we have another joint there going on. So I'm just gonna re-plug it in. There we go. So with that in mind, despite what you just saw on the joints, you don't really see a very nice ab crunch going on here. But still, you can still have some movement, and then you can't really go side by side because the parts are colliding with each other. But I do like the extra nice touch of these pipes going on here. It definitely gives you the idea of, this was definitely a part of the Sazabi project. And the back skirt does move because of this part where you have to connect the action-based connector, so they do give you some convenience, so you can plug it in and you do have the flapping back skirt. And the side skirts also move pretty well. The front skirts, they come as a single piece as a ball joint, but the manual does tell you to cut them off, and then this is what I did. They are now individual pieces, but despite that, they don't really move that much. They only go up and down, not really side to side, despite being ball joints. And very nice, extra nice yellow touch here and there. And here are those stickers I was talking about. Definitely gives out that testing unit, vibe, thanks to those, style of those stickers. Even on the knees, you can definitely tell that this is like something is being tested. And the legs, we have a nice side swivel going on here, and then we have another hinge like system going on here, which you can reposition the leg as well if you want to do so. But beyond that, we can go almost 90 degrees. Of course, depending on how you position the legs as well. And then back, we do go back, but not so much because once again the back skirt is technically blocking. Side skirt does move up, so we can go 90 degrees to the side as well. And bend wise, we have a nice double jointed bend. Of course, problem would be that this part is actually kind of blocking the way, but still we get a nice decent bend going on here, and does reveal some inner frame parts on the knee as well. Alright, and then once again, not having ball joints, despite that we still have a nice movement on the feet, so we can go forward and backward like that. And then we have a nice pivot going on here as well. Of course, this pivot might not look too natural to some people as well. And then the legs, I believe, we have these parts which can flap open as well to reveal more thrusters. And then this side also kind of moves a little bit as well. Alright, so we've seen the basics of the kit, so I'll be right back with the demonstration. Okay, I'm back with the first part. So here we have like a demonstration, or shows the main problem with funnel weapon using type mold suits, because number one, here we have the boomerang. So once again, there's really no way for me to actually display this. So I'm barely using like one of these claw things to make sure it's floating on the air. But once again, yeah, it's kind of awkward as usual, and I was able to finally open up the funnel rack. So the way how this works is that, as I mentioned, there's a slide open. Of course, once they're closed in, they're not really easy to open up. But once again, if you have them open up correctly, this is how they look like. So they don't actually open up like a clam where these would go 90 degrees. But still, I say that's a pretty good usage. And here we have one of the funnels going on here. So problem is, once again, this side is a peg, and then these things are holes. So you're gonna have to need a specific connector to actually display these effect parts. I'm pretty sure there are funnel effect parts out there which to make them look like they're flying out, but yeah, and the way how they do is they just plug into those holes to be stored in. Of course, in the manga, a very specific user of the mold could not really use the funnels as well. Okay, so we've seen the first demonstration, so I'll be right back with the second demonstration, which should be the final. Okay, so here we have the final part. So I basically took out the beam tomahawk. Well, technically, if we're going to use the Sazabi as a standard, this would be half of the beam tomahawk, but still works pretty well as a normal-looking beam saber, if you ask me. And then I believe, yes, in the promo pictures, they actually did use these beam boomerangs like these. So you can not only use them as like boomerangs, you can actually still store them in the arm and use them like spikes. So for close combat weapons, so this is definitely a interesting, nice touch going on there. So yeah. And regarding the gun, I should mention is that this thing is a very simple build. It's like just snap two pieces together and you're good to go. There's no extra ammo pack that can pop out or anything. No, this is just like basically two pieces snapped and you're good to go. And here we have the action base connected, so you can see how the part works. You plug it in and you have the action base connected right over there. Alright, and that's pretty much it for the review. So once again, if you're a big fan, if you really enjoyed the HGUC Moon Gundam and you want to build something exactly the same but don't want to buy the same kit, I would suggest try to get this version as well, because and those who love the Sazabi, I'm pretty sure you're gonna like this design as well. Of course, size wise it might be smaller, but still it has that really nice prototype feeling going on there. Anyway, thank you for watching the review. This was the review of the P-Bandai Exclusive HGUC Varguil review. If you guys got any questions or requests, leave a comment below. I still have more stuff to buy and build and make reviews out, so please stay tuned. Until then, see you guys next time!